let's get into a bit of a preview for Elimination Chamber on Saturday. Siino, what's your interest level at this point, several days out for this pay-per-view?
Extremely high, honestly, like on the level of like their major shows like a Rumble or WrestleMania. Honestly, this whole storyline has been one of my favorite things with the whole bloodline, Sami Zayn. I'm really interested in how they're going to play this out. I'm interested in how the crowd's going to be. I'm really jealous that you're going there. I mean, have a blast, obviously, but I feel like that crowd's going to be electric. Um, I, I kind of see where this is going. We'll obviously go over the preview with some of the predictions, but I just feel like this whole show is going to be hot because when's the last time Montreal even had a pay-per-view? It's been a long time, right?
I think like Sami Zayn said, like 20 something years,
yeah,
or something like that.
I feel like this crowd, I feel like is gonna be hot from beginning to end for this show. But yeah, the whole bloodline storyline is fantastic, and I can't wait to see this. And it kind of reminds me of like when the whole like Bret Hart Shawn Michaels feud, and you had like some weeks there had Raw in Canada, then you had, you know what I mean, like you had the hometown advantage, and I feel like that's what we're gonna get here with Sami Zayn being in his home turf in this feud.
Well, let's start things off here with the men's Elimination Chamber match. We have Montez Ford taking on Johnny Gargano, taking on Bronson Reed, taking on Seth Rollins, taking on Damian Priest, and taking on the champion, Austin Theory, for the United States Championship. We have, I think, the makings of a pretty good match here, between a high flyer like a Montez Ford to a giant who can also do a bit of high flying himself in Bronson Reed to, of course, like your all-star workers in a Johnny Gargano and a Seth Rollins to a giant in Damian Priest. And Austin Theory is there as well. But what do you think about this match in terms of quality and also some of the big stories and maybe some of the highlights and show stealers that could be a part of this team?
Yeah, I'm loving this. Like you said, it's very diverse lineup here. I'm hoping this is like Montez's like breakout match that we're gonna look at like years in the future. Like this is the match that made Montez like the star that he is today. Like you said, Bronson Reed, I'm sure he's gonna do the tsunami splash off one of the pods. Yeah, this match I think is gonna be great. Honestly, I think that Rollins is going to win this. That's my prediction because I feel like that could elevate the match with Logan Paul with the potential maybe Logan Paul actually winning a championship at WrestleMania could be something. But so I feel like that will be the person to walk out with this would be Rollins. But I think the match is just going to be fantastic overall.
I kind of didn't Theory just beat Rollins for it?
Yeah, it was pretty recent. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I see wrong. Like I don't know if I see them hot potatoing this title back and forth quite so often. I think Austin Theory keeps it, just to kind of like keep some momentum for him heading into the Cena match at Mania. I think Rollins continues his, he doesn't have a WrestleMania story until Logan Paul inevitably shows up. And obviously, he's going to have a tremendous performance, as is Austin Theory. I kind of kid about him. But, as far as standouts go, I'm looking for Montez Ford and Bronson Reed to have some pretty spectacular moments in this match. I'm looking for Johnny Gargano, to be one of the talks of this. This is an Elimination Chamber helmed by Paul Levesque, and Gargano, up until this point, I would say he's been kind of disappointing in his main roster run without anything really all that notable, like being almost a side character in this Miz versus Dexter Lumis match. This is going to be a chance for Gargano to hopefully take center stage. Hopefully he's in there for quite a bit, and hopefully he impresses just through his, great underdog sort of abilities. Priest also is incredibly hot right now as part of Judgment Day, so he might last there until, towards the end.
And I looked up when Theory won the title. It was actually back in Survivor Series November, and looking at the last couple of champions, the average like length for holding the title has been about 3 months. So it does like, I guess, it does kind of like make sense if he were to lose it. But like, who knows? Like I didn't even think of the whole John Cena thing. I guess that would make sense, obviously, as well. He's been doing the whole champions here thing. If they are going that direction with Cena and Theory, I guess he would lead the title on Theory.
All right, up next we've got in the Women's Elimination Chamber, we have Asuka taking on Raquel Rodriguez, taking on Natalya, taking on Liv Morgan, taking on Carmella, taking on Nikki Cross. So for me, I much like the Rumble this year, I feel like they've done such a poor job of creating any sort of like storyline in the women's division to make you think that any of them could be a legitimate contender, that I have pretty low interest in this match in terms of story. I think you're looking at this picture and who can you justifiably consider as a WrestleMania title contender here?
Yeah, like it's been Asuka for me since they announced this match. When they had that little tease on Monday between Becky and Bailey, I'm okay. That's cool. They're gonna add somebody else who could potentially win this match. That didn't happen. And like you said, there's no storyline going through any of these women. The only storyline with in these competitors is Nikki Cross and Candice LeRae, and Candice is not even in this match. So it's like literally there is no story. The only story is Asuka has this new character that's more vicious and more scary. So she's gonna win, obviously. And that's the match that we're gonna want to see is gonna be her and Bianca.
They've done nothing to like tell you why each of these women wants to win a championship or wants to go on to WrestleMania to win a championship. You know, Natalia's thing has been anti Ronda and Shayna. Has Liv Morgan like suggested any?
Last time we heard her talk was when she said she's going to be number 1 in the Rumble, and then she ended up being number 2. And like, where's her promo about being number 1 in the Chamber? Like, she hasn't said that. And what's funny is when they teased Becky and Bailey, I actually liked the idea because my first thought was, well, how are they going to have a 7-person if they only have 6 pods? And my thought was, okay, if they start as a triple threat, that makes perfect sense. There's 3 women in the ring, and I was like, that was a really interesting idea, and it never happened. But like you said, we haven't heard anything from Liv.
There might have been one line from Raquel about like, I don't know, wanting to win the championship at some point, but like certainly nothing substantial to make you think that any of them have a chance. Now, it could be sort of an out of nowhere pick, and I would say Raquel Rodriguez has a chance of being that out of nowhere pick. She has size, and I think you could always promote somebody with size to. Well, who's the champion that they'd be going after? Bianca?
Bianca, yeah. And I know that like Raquel and Bianca, I'm pretty sure are pretty close from their NXT days, if I'm not mistaken. So there is a story there, but like Raquel has lost a lot of momentum since they debuted her. She didn't really have that much to begin with, but like she's definitely like not, I feel like, main event WrestleMania championship caliber at this point.
Doesn't feel like it this year.
No.
Conversely, Asuka coming back from the Rumble with this renewed look, she doesn't even have to, say too much, and already feels like she's a bigger deal. Already feels like she's a star. Feels like the only option, quite frankly, to go up against Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. So, seems like a pretty obvious conclusion, but we'll see. Asuka. We'll see how they get there. I mean, Liv Morgan too. It's really too bad. I think she, had some momentum, throughout the year, but it's kind of felt pretty flat recently. Okay, up next we've got Edge and Beth Phoenix taking on the Judgment Days, Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley, presumably with Dominic Mysterio somewhere here in a mixed tag team match. What do you think about this? The Grid couple making a return here in Canada, and the Judgment Day incredibly hot right now, especially Rhea Ripley, as Rhea is about to challenge Charlotte for the championship at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if Rhea didn't win the Rumble, this is a match that I could have seen for WrestleMania. But the fact that we're getting here in Montreal in Canada is good for Edge, obviously. I can't see Rhea taking the loss in this match because of the fact that she's fighting Charlotte at Mania. So I'm going to go with the Judgment Day winning this match. But I'm just interested because I'll be honest with you, like I'm not too interested in Edge and Finn Balor WrestleMania. I think that's the direction that they're going to. I don't really think that, like, I love Judgment Day right now, but I feel like that's not, like, unless they add some sort of stipulation to it or some sort of gimmick, I can't see that being a match that really like intrigues me going into WrestleMania.
And they've already done the tag match, right, with Rey and Edge.
Yeah, and they've done Edge and Balor like pretty recently, so it's like I don't see that like being like WrestleMania caliber to me, at least. I
can see like Edge and Balor being a more attractive match if you throw it in some interesting stipulation or structure attached to it. This could be Edge's last WrestleMania, and maybe to kind of make it unique, maybe they could throw in like a TLC stipulation or something, which would be ridiculous, actually, especially at the man's age. But I wouldn't discount maybe a chair stipulation, I guess, would make more sense for him. In terms of finish, I think it would be Beth taking the loss. As you mentioned, Rhea going for a championship. She's so incredibly strong. She's not going to take any loss. And I don't even know if Balor is either, because I think that would just kind of extinguish whatever heat there might be. I think you have to extinguish it. Well, you know what? He could certainly afford the loss, and then they'll beat down Edge and Phoenix afterwards. But it's hard for me to pick this one because, after the scene in which they concertoed Beth, I think the heels need their comeuppance. So maybe Edge and Phoenix, actually, I'm actually going to change, and Balor takes the pinfall and then just regains his heat back afterwards.
Okay, I can see that happening. Yeah, it's one of those matches where either way, I feel like yeah, obviously if Balor's gonna be the one that's gonna take the pin if they lose, and vice versa. Like you said, Beth is gonna have to take the pin if they lose. But yeah, we'll see. Like I don't know. I'm hoping like I would like to see Ray versus Dominic, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get a tag team match with Edge and Ray versus Dominic and Finn at Mania.
Yeah, well, I was saying, didn't they already do that match, or am I mistaken? Did they do Edge and Ray with somebody else?
It's possible.
Dominic and Finn. I could be wrong, because I think that would be the match. You know,
they had a 6-man match. It was Dominic, Edge, and Ray. But yeah, I don't see any opposition between. Yeah, Edge and Dominic had a 1-on-1 match, and that's it. But there was no. Yeah.
I think that'd be good. It almost feels too soon to like go to Ray versus Dominic, because I think you could drag that, a little bit longer than like towards a SummerSlam or something. So I like it, but we'll see where they go. Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. This is a match. They did a contract signing on Monday for it. No stipulation for it. It's a singles match. And do you expect this to have a conclusive ending?
I think so, because I can't see them having this match and the rematch like right away at WrestleMania, unless that's going to be a stipulation match, which I can't see that really happening. I honestly think this is going to be a quick match for Brock to win.
Sorry, is that you don't see them having this rematch at WrestleMania?
No, I don't know why. For some reason, I don't see this being like redone at WrestleMania. Maybe just me not wanting to see that at WrestleMania. I'd rather see Brock and Gunther, as everybody else in the world wants to see that. So maybe I'm just telling my brain to just not want that rematch. But I hope this is just like a quick little like roadblock for Brock before he actually fights Gunther at Mania. But I don't see this match being too long. Maybe like 6-7 minutes, just like a quick work for Brock.
I'm strictly going by what I hear about reports stating that this is still penciled in, but I mean at this point, who knows? Maybe my news is outdated.
I mean, if they do the rematch at Mania, it's going to have to be a stipulation. What would you do? Like, what's false count anywhere? Like, I guess there really isn't much I can see with these two doing. They're not going to do a TLC match.
Dick into the dirt match.
A bulldozer match or something. Like, bring your own vehicle of choice and kind of like what Giant Hulk Hogan did at Cobo Hall. Just bring your go on the roof of wherever the SoFi Stadium.
Well, if we're strictly talking about personal preference, I'm with you. I don't want to see this rematch again. I mean, I feel like we've seen it plenty of times at this point, and that almost guarantees some sort of bullshit finish on Saturday, which I think would just more so turn people off than get them interested. I do feel like there's if you do want to make this more interesting, and if you do intend on delaying it till WrestleMania, I think they got to go the way of like the major stunt, like the way they did with Brock Lesnar bringing a bulldozer out and creating the spectacular scene. Even though it wiped away the finish of the match, you're leaving the audience feeling like they saw something special. And, with these two, I think that's possible, but this is not going to be a show closing match either. So we'll see what they can do. All right. That is that, except of course for the main event. The main event of all main events ever. Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn for the undisputed Universal Championship. Siino, I need to know from you, first of all, not just your prediction on who's going to win, but what happens in this match. Who comes in? How do you book this finish?
I would have Paul Heyman spray paint Roman Reigns' butt with a L and have in all seriousness, I think the whole Uso stay at home thing is solely for Jimmy, and I feel like Jay is gonna find his way into Montreal, and everybody's gonna think he's gonna help out Sammy, but he's not. He's gonna end up causing Sammy the loss. Unfortunately, that's gonna be the big heartbreak, and maybe they'll start attacking him after the match, and that's when Kevin Owens. I think it's kind of like I feel like it's a. Everybody's kind of predicting this in a way, but then Kevin Owens comes out for the save, and that's your match for Mania. Kevin Owens and Sammy against the Usos, but Roman has to win, obviously, right? I can't see Cody getting involved in this. Cody is not on this card at all. Now that I think about it, he has no involvement. Do you see him maybe being involved in this match somehow, or because they already set up some sort of friendship, right? So let's just say there was a bloodline beatdown, and Cody would have to come out as well. You would think, right? Not only Kevin Owens.
Interesting. Yeah, actually, maybe as a way to kind of further the team up and the audience, Canadian specifically, support for Cody, to have him come to Sami's aid and be on his side, I think would probably be an effective way of doing it. I also wonder if they're at this point, not wanting to risk it and just, avoiding having Cody at all appear in this scene. But I think that would be a good way. Yeah, Kevin Owens is another, kind of lingering person that's out there that we could presume will make an appearance. A bit of an update here. Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio did state that he was told that both Usos are actually cleared to enter.
Oh,
So
okay.
that doesn't necessarily mean, Jimmy will. And in fact, I don't know if there's a storyline reason for Jimmy to be there. He should be listening to orders.
It would just make the beatdown, I guess, more if there's more people there with Solo and Jimmy and Jay. If there was like a total beatdown on the bloodline on Sami before Kevin Owens comes out for the eventual save, you would think. But yeah, that's good. That's good to hear that they're both allowed.
Yeah. So, I think we can expect Kevin Owens involvement. I think we can expect Jey Uso involvement. And at this point, this will probably spell out what the direction is for Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. If it is, in fact, a tag team match with Kevin Owens, then, we'll see how this leads off. But it's not even so much about the ending of the match as, the incredible atmosphere that I think is sure that is going to be there. I mean,
does
Montreal,
he come out to his old music?
I think they have to.
They have to, right?
They have to.
They're already chanting the Ole Ole at on Raw, so I can see that for one night only. I think he said somewhere about like he'd rather have new music, but nobody's gonna know what the new music is, right? So you might as well have the old music for one night.
I mean, is it a CFO song? Could it be a Johnny Gargano situation where they had to like remake it?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure like some people in WWE are still using their CFO songs, if I'm not mistaken. Right. I'm pretty sure like Bianca is CFO. She's been using that same song forever, and Johnny went back to CFO for one night, so I'm sure they can do it for one night. They can just send CFO a paycheck and
whatever it costs. And I don't think it's an issue of CFOs. It's the publishing company, but whatever it costs, I mean, they got to pay for that for one night because in Montreal it's going to be crazy. But I'm very curious to see what they do in this match to keep Sami a star, to keep him hot enough coming out of WrestleMania, because I think the Cody Rhodes Sami Zayn tease on Monday wasn't just done to build attention and the possibility of Sami Zayn winning on Saturday. I think they want to eventually do Cody Rhodes versus Sami Zayn, and that means you have to keep Sami Zayn not just number one, fine, but maybe a number two in terms of babyface without Roman Reigns being there. So they got to retain that value because they have a real big potential star on their hands. So
can you see them holding that all the way until Money in the Bank and having maybe that be a thing that Sami wins and uses on Cody?
I like that a lot. Yeah. If you're going to have a babyface Money in the Bank winner, I think that's great.
Actually announced a match ahead, and you set it up for because Money in the Bank is before SummerSlam, if I'm not mistaken?
I believe so.
So
I don't know if they changed that recently. But
so if you do Money in the Bank in London and then Sami wins it and say, hey, I want the match with Cody. If Cody wins, obviously, I want the match at SummerSlam. There you go.
Very interesting. So that is WWE's Elimination Chamber. John Pollock and I will be live in Montreal all weekend, so we'll be doing a show about Rewind to SmackDown. So that, again, this will probably affect our live start times, but rest assured we will have shows up there by the morning for all of you guys, either listening on Friday on the Post Wrestling Cafe for Rewind to SmackDown or on Saturday/Sunday morning for our Elimination Chamber post show. Whenever we record, I'm sure we will probably go live here on youtube.com/postwrestling, but we're not so sure about the start time because we're going to be at the post-fight press conference actually on Saturday night. So there's a lot there.